folks. Welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh Juice, an indie game podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh, and joined, as always, it is...
Matty Juice. What's up, everybody? How are you? We've got a long episode ahead of us for me and Tommy. You guys will not know that it's a longer episode, but we're doing 2-in-1, folks. The 2-in-1 special.
No, we're not. The next week's episode is not different, or it is different. It's a different day that we recorded, and everything else. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, listen, we are recording on. Well, there's actually a bunch of milestone days today. We're recording on March 31st, which I believe is the 27th anniversary of StarCraft. It's also the 30th anniversary of one of my favorite movies, Tommy Boy. And it's Transvisibility Day. So shout out to all of our juice heads out there of just being juice heads.
Yeah.
So we got a great episode for you this week.
For some reason, I thought you were going to take that a different direction and just be like, "It's April Fool's Eve.
It's April Fool's
It's the end of Q1."
Yeah. Oh, it is the end of Q. Well, actually, I don't go by Qs anymore. So,
nice.
in my job, although my job sucks, but hey, listen, we have a great episode for you today and next week. Actually, we have a great episode every week. Today, we're going to be talking about Mudborne, a cozy game, probably the coziest game that. Well, I'll be the only one reviewing because I played this one, and it's going to be fun to talk about. This one's really, really interesting. So please stick around for that review. It's coming a little bit after we catch up and see what's going on, as well as hit some news. I don't think there was a ton of news this week, but we will see. And yeah, what's going on? How's your week going?
Yeah, not bad so far. Maria had off today, so it was nice to have her home. And then over the weekend did some partying with not yours truly, but with you and some friends, right?
And yours truly, you were there.
Well, and that's true. I was there. So that was fun. That was a good time. I actually had a little too much. And I threw up in someone's driveway on the way home.
Someone's?
We just said, I was just like, pull over. And she pulled into a driveway, and I just opened the door and let it out and closed the door and kept on driving.
That's why they call you
Matty Juice.
Hopefully it rained.
Yeah.
Hopefully me, Tommy Fresh. Because I was, while you were mixing, substances, so it happens. So
it was also like as soon as I got in the car, it was just like I just felt way different. So that did not help either.
That's a long drive.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, it was a good time though. It was a good time. Had a great time. Great food. Great people. What more can you ask for? So
yeah. No, it was a good time. Glad everybody could make it. We're just having people over, just kind of like trying to have fun. We leave for Scotland in a week, so just nice little, not last hurrah, but like a nice little hurrah before we leave, and then we'll be traveling a lot the next 2 or 3 months, so it'll just be nice to kind of like see people before the traveling ends, pretty much. Yeah, it was a good time having people over. What else did we do on Sunday? Not a whole lot. Just kind of like tried to like catch up. I played Mudborne all day. Still playing a lot of 33 Immortals. We played a little bit last week as well. That game is still popping. They just put out a hot fix. So check out our episode on that last week. We enjoyed it. Spoiler alert. But hey, we do have a great episode for you this week. Starting off, we do have huge news. Yes, it's true. You heard the rumors. It is happening. We have a Discord, the Juice Heads. It's a great place to hang out. Please hop in there. Tell us some games we should be checking out. Talk about some games you like. Ask us some questions that we'll answer on the show. And check that out. But also, one of the year's biggest games is an indie drug dealing sim made by a solo dev. What is this game?
Yeah, so you guys might have seen this on TikTok, especially just social media in general. It's a game called Schedule One. And currently, according to this article from Kotaku, Schedule One is more popular right now than on Steam, at least, than Marvel Rivals, PUBG, GTA 5, and Call of Duty. And it's made by a solo developer. It's an open world first person game. It's a drug dealing simulator that you can play with your friends, and it kind of has like a little bit of like a really simplistic GTA vibe where you're kind of in this like city, but very derpy kind of art style and like simplistic looking game. Kind of looks like it's almost like an alpha kind of vibe to it. But this is kind of what I think I had mentioned a few weeks ago is like I just feel like these meme looking games are like, they've been popping off with, virality. I'm not going to be playing this one in particular just because I don't know, it doesn't really interest me. A lot of them don't, to be honest, but I just keep seeing it all over the place. One of our buddies, Matt, has been trying to get us to play it. He's mentioned it a few times. And it's also only $20, which is solid, and it's had over 300,000 concurrent players
Holy
on
moly.
Steam. So that's pretty incredible, yeah, for a game like this. So I don't know, really just love seeing the solo devs, doing their thing, getting success, gotta love it.
Well, I tell you what, it does look pretty interesting. I'm taking a look now. I actually hadn't heard of it, to be honest with you. I also think that you were probably onto something with the memey, derpy kind of games really popping off this year, because another game I've been seeing a lot of, which we didn't review, that is as derpy as it gets in terms of the way it looks. I mean, it brings me back to 2002. It is Nubby's Number Factory. I don't know if anybody's seen that. It's a kind of another Balatro-esque big numbers go up Plinko kind of game.
Oh,
It's
yes.
$5. It came out March 7th. Overwhelmingly positive reviews at 3,400 reviews already. I mean, I'm gonna have to pick it up. The art style is not something that makes me like jump for joy, but I think it's got to be part of the charm here, because it looks exactly like a game I'd be playing on Addicting Games 20 years ago. So, nothing wrong with that. I think, you kind of nailed it, Matty. That like,
Thank you.
It's the year of the meme. I think we're all beaten down, right? Like it's just tough. The economy's just tanking. Things are not going well. We need memes, folks.
Yeah.
The memes are
Yeah.
here.
And also, I do think that it's refreshing to see these games blow up, and they're not, super high fidelity. They're just fun at the end of the day. Like people are just having fun with it. They don't care what it looks like. If anything, the kind of simplistic art style is helping, because
Yeah.
people are just like liking the way things look because it looks derpy or because it looks simple. Actually, Nubby's Number Factory also reminds me, well, for some reason, like when you get a strike in bowling, right?
Yeah.
And there's there's that the video that plays. It's always like a random thing. Like it just gives me those vibes too. I might have to pick this up too. A number go up game,
$5.
$5. I mean, why not? And there's a
Yeah.
demo.
There's a demo. Holy
Yeah.
smokes. Yeah. This is like really cool to see. And I think we'll be seeing more of this. I mean, what's the game? Repo is really popular right now. That's kind of a meme looking game. And yeah, this is going to be the year of the meme. We're calling it now. You know what? You mentioned it last week. We're planting our flag this week.
Hell yeah.
And I'm tagging myself onto you to make myself seem just as right as you. I thought it was
Good.
going to be inventory management games. What the hell was I talking about?
Hey, it's only, March 31st. It's just the end of Q1. We got 3 other Qs.
We got 3 other Qs.
Yeah, you never
know. Gotta accuse. Don't you lose. Barbecue. Lakers in 5. Let's just go. I don't know. I don't know. Just trying to Bring out my Shannon Sharp. Hey, listen, we do got to talk about a game, Mudborne, which is the game that I played this week. We split it up because we had to do double duty while I traveled. And I took on the mantle of playing Mudborne, a frog management sim. It's a casual nature management sim about discovering and breeding frogs. Awoken from hibernation, you find your pond abandoned. Through genetic keys of new species, you must unlock the paths between the waking and dreaming worlds and embark on a journey to restore lost populations. Holy moly. So this game, gameplay wise, and oh man, I love, if you're watching the YouTube or the Spotify, the way this game starts, you see this big purple frog talking to your character. It's very exciting. You get to choose your name. I just went with Mudborne because I was like, you know what, that's a pretty sweet name. It was also the first one that generated, and I was like, and I was also playing on the Steam Deck and on the PC, and I started on the Steam Deck. It's a little bit harder to, it was harder to actually change your name on the Steam Deck, I will say, but it's a pretty interesting game. Cozy as cozy gets. Now, I did some research. The studio is T Engineers, and they did a game called Apico, which is pretty much I guess this is more the spiritual successor of that game. Apico is a very similar cozy game, except it takes place in the woods, and you're trying to restore bee populations. And the interesting thing about these games is that they are tied to, like in a charity sense, to what they're putting out, right? You know, they raised money for bees. This game raises money for amphibians and swamplands, which is pretty neat. And it also came out on World Frog Day, which was March 20th. I didn't know that. But the gameplay is pretty interesting. You kind of start out in your little hut, and you basically live in this hut with the shopkeeper. That's a little weird, but he's always there. So the shopkeeper is going to be the one to kind of help you get more stuff to help build out this pond. And the pond is not a big area, but kind of neat. You can kind of interact with most things. There is like crafting to this, but it doesn't feel like really cumbersome crafting. Like you can just go around, chop down trees, catch frogs, like little frog. You are a frog, and then there's like little tiny frogs. I don't know about the ethics of it, but we don't need to talk about that. You know, you are capturing frogs to a certain extent, but maybe because your frog wears pants, you get to do that. But I guess. But you know, you run around, you're collecting this stuff, and then you are also gifted these like journals, and the journals are your quests, right? So a lot of the quests in the beginning are going to be just things to get you associated with what you can do in this world. You know, catch frogs, catch bugs, eat bugs, equip a frog as your companion to like follow you around, and then also different ways to cultivate stuff and also breed frogs. So you kind of have like a little bit of this like world sim meets cozy game vibe with these really neat little pixel graphics as well. I like the thing in this game that I liked so much was initially I was a little bit scared when I was like, oh, I'm going to have to like gather all these materials and I'm going to have to like really like get into the nitty gritty of crafting, but they made it so easy because you just go to the shopkeeper and instead of like paying money for things, that's where you craft, which is pretty neat. Now there's other like pseudo crafting going on. Like you will create like a compost pile where you can grow mushrooms to use on your frogs and stuff like that. Or you have a frog breeder where you can, you know, put different frogs in there and they will breed new frogs for you to kind of populate your pond and other stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. It was like pretty relaxing. I never felt overwhelmed or anything, which is like can really happen in these cozy games, I think, where yeah, it's cozy and vibe or whatever, like in aesthetics, and then you get into it and you're like, look at all this stuff like we're gonna make you do. And there's no shortage of things to do here, but it's laid out pretty nicely by these journals that have your quests and also like recipes and different kinds of species of animals that you've come across throughout the game. So that's like the gameplay, I think, and kind of in a nutshell. I didn't get like super far. Obviously, you can go pretty far in this game and really build out this whole world. It's like very customizable. So I don't know. You have any questions about the gameplay since I played it?
Yeah, just curious, because I guess the you find your pond was abandoned. So, but you said you can breed frogs. Is there like does it make it clear that there's like a goal of how many frogs you need to breed before like the pond is back to normal, or is it just kind of like an endless vibe?
I wouldn't say endless. I mean, there is like the quests are really kind of what's guiding you, right? You have to do like the beginner quests until you can unlock the next quest to see what they are, and then it kind of goes forward. And you also have this whole encyclopedia of different frog species that you can fill out, so you know that you're trying to discover all of these. It's not like there's an end goal per se, but like you do want to probably, I guess, from what I can gather from what I played, is like just find everything and then also customize your pond to your liking, to be honest. And it's very Animal Crossing in a way.
Yeah,
because you also have this day and night system as well.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Do things change based on whether it's day or night?
Yeah, the different kinds of frogs and bugs you can find kind of changes based on night, dawn, evening. I think you have like the four main like times a day: night, day, like dusk and dawn. So, and then you can like fast travel back to your bed and sleep till the next day. Some things will take time to like grow because the mushrooms are pretty important in this game as well, and they'll take time to like kind of grow out of your compost. So you can be like, I just planted, or not planted, but like I'm trying to, I forget what the name they use in it, but like you're trying to not generate. You're trying to cultivate.
There it is.
Cultivate these mushrooms. So you're like, all right, I got some time on this. I'll like go sleep till noon tomorrow or something like that. So that's kind of how the day system works as well. The shopkeeper is asleep at night, but you can wake him up, which is kind of fun. And you also start with all your tools as well, which I liked, because sometimes in these games you guys like, you start with just the axe or something like that. You start with the net, the axe, the shovel, and then a couple other things I forget. But you're pretty well equipped to like start the journey.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely get like Animal Crossing vibes from just watching it and hearing you describe it. How would you say like at least based on this gameplay we're watching, like the exploration, like how is that? Like, do you actually, like go into caves and things like that, or is it, I'm just kind of thinking like almost like Pokemon, or is it mainly just like, well, I guess because you're in a pond, it wouldn't be like a true cave. I don't know, but a hole or something. Like, how does the exploration feel, or does it just feel like, oh, you're just trying to get the quest done and everything is kind of like near you?
Not it's a limited size map, but it's not like small, I would say. Like at one point, like in the progression, you'll get the map to see where you've been and what you've put where. But I would say it's like twice the size. Like if you can like kind of compare it to Animal Crossing, it's like twice the size of like an island or whatever. Okay. But there is like stuff that you can find. Like if you're watching the video, there's the shallow water is like the lighter blue, and then there's deeper water which you can't cross yet. You have to probably unlock something, and then there's also these doors that are locked, and you need to find keys for them to like kind of interact with whatever's going on in there. There's also these shrines to like these frog gods of sorts that you will interact with in different ways throughout the game. So there's definitely like secrets. It's not like, hey, this is just a sim and that's it. There's definitely some secret stuff going on.
Cool.
And also it's kind of funny, like even there's a lot of detail here, especially even like when it comes to the bugs, like because one of the button inputs is just like you shoot out your tongue like a frog, and you can just eat a bug rather than catch it with a net, and then that will also give you information on what that bug tastes like. It's like, this is salty. It's like rather than just like I think if you catch it, you get like a certain encyclopedia like post or whatever. What do you call that?
Like an entry?
Entry, yes.
Yeah.
God. And then like if you eat it, you'll get some other stuff. So that's the gameplay though. And then moving on to the story, it's pretty much laid out for us. This is like there's this big purple cosmic frog that's like, you gotta fix the pond, and you're like, all right, I'll do that. And there's all these characters that you run into. It's not just the shopkeeper. There's other characters that you will find as you kind of unlock more stuff. And then you can, when you go to bed, you can also choose to commune, where you'll basically revisit that giant purple frog, and that frog will give you more lore or whatever like that. So it's not the deepest of stories, but it's kind of like, hey, you are all we're depending on to kind of like get this pond back together. Here's this world. It's a froggy world. This is like Frogger, Animal Crossing style. Shout out Frogger, huge fan. So it was it's a cute little story. It's not like I never was like I gotta save this pond, but as soon as I saw that giant purple frog and like this like psychedelic kind of thing, I was like, oh, I'm pretty in on this. This is pretty neat. I've never really seen something like that, like in a genre like this. So I was a fan there.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. 'Cause I feel like this game could have went kind of like no story route really, and just kind of have like the setting, or it could have, kind of built out a story. It really seems like it could have gone either way. Looking at the gameplay before talking to you, I was like, oh, this is like a Norp Apolog kind of game, but it definitely seems like it has more than that, which is cool from a story, standpoint. But I will say the name Mudborne maybe makes me wish for more of a story, just because it's really cool sounding. But I don't think I'd be disappointed with the.
There's entirely some like possibility that there's more that I haven't gotten to yet, right? Like because there's all these shrines and there's definitely something going on with them, and there's this whole point to like commune with this like frog god. So like I think that some stuff based on what I've seen actually from like other people playing, that there is more to it, but a lot of the beginning stages of the game is like kind of getting you familiarized with this world. So, but yeah, I mean, Mudborne is a pretty sick name.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like there's also like some magic stuff going on, right? So some of the stuff you craft is like magic mud that you got to use for different kinds of things that you want to craft. So that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
It's not just like a regular. It's not a regular pond. It's a cool pond. So it's pretty neat. Now, visual wise, this game is just, I think, the gold standard of like a cozy pixel art style, right? This is just so fun to look at. Things are like dynamic in a way that just feels so like satisfying to interact with. You hit like a lily pad, and the way the mush that you collect as like a resource like pops up and comes back to you. The night and the night day, dusk and dawn system makes the environments feel so different, and it just looks great. Like, honestly, I mean, this is something that I think speaks for itself in a lot of ways, and will probably get a lot of people to try this game. Is the way this game looks, because it just looks really good. I can't really think of any issues with the art, to be honest. I mean, there's sometimes when I'll be like, can I interact with this? But then you can't, so you just don't. So
Mhm.
a lot of the game is exploration anyway. But yeah, it just like that was probably the highlight here is looking at this game. So
Yeah, it's definitely just looking at it, before we started recording and everything, it was like the first thing I noticed where I'm like, oh, this it just looks great. Like just watching it during the podcast right now, it's been entertaining. Definitely has the cozy vibes, and I think the UI is pretty well done too. I obviously haven't played it to really know, but in terms of there's a lot of information on the screen with games like this, and I think they seems like they do a good job of organizing it and not making it seem like super overwhelming.
yeah, and with the UI, I mean, I think, to be honest, the only thing that I could say negatively about it is that when you complete a quest or you have like a quest going, sometimes it'll be on the bottom left and sometimes on the top right, and I don't really know why yet. Maybe it's because there were different chapters in the book or whatever. And then there's some information in the top left, which is kind of interesting, telling you what day you're on, as well as the conditions outside, like mild versus dry. And then there's also some symbols that you don't really know, like you can kind of look up as you're playing, but I don't think you really need to know too much. But until you get into like the really nitty gritty of like how you want to grow mushrooms and stuff like that, like what environment is best for this kind of mushroom or these kind of frogs to appear or breed, et cetera, et cetera. So it gives, I think, a lot of agency for the player to experience the game in whatever way they want, which I think is nice through the UI, which is pretty cool. Now, in terms of the sound and music, I mean, sounds great, sounds really good. Just matching the vibe of the visuals here a lot with the sound effects. Sounds like you're in a swamp. Right, like a swamp pond. You can hear the rivets and stuff like that, and then you get like the kind of classic cozy game ambient music that is not stressful whatsoever. So it's not anything that I'd be like, oh, this is Mudborne, but I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would listen to Mudborne's soundtrack. To be honest, I listen to a lot of ambient music, like when I'm working and stuff like that. And this is something that I would be interested in. So, big fan of the music here.
You want to give the people a little sample of it? I could put it on right now.
Yeah,
All right, let's do it. We don't usually do that. I feel like maybe we should.
maybe that's what happens. See what works.
Do you hear it?
I don't hear
I do.
it. Oh, wait.
Oh, it might be.
You
Yeah, I
gotta
think
probably
it's.
unmute.
Yeah. Anyway, it does sound. If the folks did not hear it either, which I'm assuming they didn't.
No.
It we were just quiet for a few seconds there. It does. It just sounds like ambient pond noises.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. It almost sounds like our next door neighbor has like a pool that they haven't taken care of for a while because they're not really like there. I don't really know what's going on over there, but there's like we call it the Symphony of Frogs. During the summer, you just hear them like at night over there, and it's pretty nice. Yeah. So hopefully
sick.
they don't fix their pool, but it reminds me of that, like a summer night, just hearing like frogs and cicadas and stuff.
Pretty
Yeah.
sick. Pretty
Yeah,
sick.
it's nice.
I mean, to kind of round out this review of Mudborne, I mean, performance-wise, it worked pretty well. I played on, as I said, both the Steam Deck and on PC. It's better on the PC. I think just like naturally because it's a little bit easier to switch your inputs. You know, it has the classic inventory system where you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever, or or you can use the scroll wheel. But it worked pretty well on the Steam Deck as well. Honestly, it's the kind of perfect game you want to play handheld. I'll probably be bringing it maybe on my trip. So this might be a fun one to play, as well as something like Dawnfolk, which I played a little bit more of the other day as well. Shout out, another cozy game. But performance wise, it played great.
Good.
But that does bring us to my rating of this game, which our ratings are as follows. Certified Fresh Juice is our best rating. These are for the Balatros, Preserves, the Norp Apologues of the world, Steel, your Ballionaire, Crypt Custodian, the Cub. These are games that aren't quite the greatest, but they're still very good. On sale are games that have a lot of redeeming qualities. You might want to wait for it to go on sale. It's not the perfect game, but things like Wizard with a Gun, Hellscape, and then we have Manager Special. These are things that I would get on a deep discount or free to play, or it's just a really unique, interesting kind of genre for, fans of that genre in particular. And then finally, Spoiled Milk. These are games that we don't recommend that you play. And coming to my rating of Mudborne, this was tough. I started at a steal. I will say. I started at a steal, and then I kept playing more, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is like actually really good. And then I was like thinking about it all day today, and I was like, oh no, like it's actually a great game. So I have to give it a certified fresh juice. Maybe a lower one. I think it's like a lower one, but like it can't in good conscience give it a steal because I do think it's right there with like a great game for your money. It is quite good, and I can't wait to play more of it, to be honest, because like I felt like I played for 2 or 3 hours. I feel like I barely scratched the surface with this game. I think like you can kind of really, plant yourself into it in a way, hop on into it if you will. But certified fresh juice, Matty Juice.
Damn, that is impressive. That's 2 in a row for you, right there. There you go. And it's been how many certified fresh juices we've had this year? Well, if you count just yours, I guess, because of Mudborne.
4.
4.
How many did we have last year?
All together, let's see. We had I'll count for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh wow,
9.
Okay. 9.
So you're already almost halfway. Well, like halfway.
Yeah.
Basically. It's only March.
With plenty of year left, folks. Mudborne, I would check it out, and I mean $7.99, right? This is a great deal anyway, and some of the proceeds go to charity, which is nice as well. And frogs are cool. Like if you like a cozy game, you like frogs, check it out. Like we don't do a lot of cozy games on here, but it is a big market, so. Check out Mudborne.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Next week, we got a retro review of
Blasphemous. Oh my God. I will be playing Blasphemous. Tommy's already played it in the past and has been asking me to play it. So I picked it up and I'll be talking about Blasphemous.
So stay tuned next week for some Blasphemous action. Now, listener questions. These are questions that come from our Juiceheads in the Juicehead Discord. Great way to interact with us. And for us, you can ask us curveballs, and we're going to get our torpedo bats out and hit them out of the park. Let's go Yankees. First question comes from K Moore, who asks, if a game is a certified fresh juice, do you usually end up playing it more or even to completion?
Um, I would say most of the time, um, I end up playing it like a lot more. Like last week we had 33 Immortals, spoiler there, but been playing that so much, played Sworn, more often. I know also this year, Dawnfolk, we gave Certified Fresh Juice. I haven't played that one as much afterwards, but I still haven't installed. Basically, I have a category in my Steam just called Play More.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a game from the podcast that I give a really good rating, even a steal, like I'll just add it to Play More. So like any day where I'm like, man, I don't know what to play, I'll just I'll look at my games that I wanted to play more of. So I would say more often than not, I do play more of the certified fresh juices. I don't know in terms about like to completion, really. That's tough. Just because we got a lot of other stuff going on every week. We got to I got to carve out time to play a new game.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be tough to play some of them to completion, but I definitely play more. Of the certified fresh juices than anything. What about you, Tommy?
Yeah, I think this year I've played. I mean, outside of Mudborne, because I still would have to get past this episode to play more of, but I do plan on it. I played more of Sworn. I played more of Dawnfolk. I played a lot more of 33 Immortals. I will play more of Mudborne. Looking back at last year, I played more of Halls of Torment. I have played a little bit more of Preserve, not a ton. Every once in a while, I'll hop on Ember Ward to see what's going on there because that's still in active development. I had my wife play some Haunty. Animal Well, played more of that. I do want to complete that though. That is one that I want to go back and complete.
Yeah, I feel like I'm stuck in that game right now.
Yeah,
which I just you just need to it's so weird. And I don't want to look up anything, but yeah, I want to complete that one too.
Boar Blasters, I played a ton of. I mean, arguably almost to completion. Balatro, played a little bit of. Norp Apolog, played more of. Leica, played more of. So every Certified Fresh Juice, I at least played more of. And even some games that are like a steal, I'll play more of.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, looking at the list here, the only certified fresh juice that I think I fully completed is Cocoon, which is our first episode, because I actually played the whole thing. It was like 4 hours. I played it before our first ep. And I was just like, yeah, I'll just complete that. Maybe Norp Apolog, maybe I unlocked everything in that game or close to everything. But yeah, good question, though, K-More. Good question.
Little peek behind the curtains over here at the Fresh Juice Studios. What's next? Capolo asks, what's the simplest video game you have enjoyed?
Ooh, the simplest video game I've enjoyed. It's probably a mobile game. I played a lot of Tiny Wings back in the day. Pretty simple game. Doodle Jump, things like that. Trying to think, I wouldn't really consider like a game like Minecraft like simple. It's got like decent depth to it. I'm kind of thinking just like almost like a brainless kind of game. Yeah, that's what comes to mind. If I think I'm gonna think about it a little bit more. But Tom, what are you thinking for this one?
Well, it's kind of hard. It's like, how do you categorize simple? Like Doodle Jump, I've played and enjoyed, and it is simple. But like, if that feels like that game was simple for simple's sake, rather than like this game is simple. Does that like?
Oh yeah, like you've it's like Balatro. Balastro's simple.
Yeah, Balatro. Yeah. I also think
at the end of the day.
Yeah, but like to me, like Doodle Jump was like they set out to make an addicting, like mobile game that would be simple, and not to count against it, but that to me kind of like I don't know blurs the lines a little bit. Like to me, like Solitaire, right? Simple game that I've enjoyed, like played. I mean, Pinball, the space, what is it?
Space Machine or something,
Machine.
or
the old Windows 98 Pinball, ski free. I mean, like games like that I enjoyed.
Frogger.
Frogger.
There you
Listen,
go.
there's depth in Frogger, my friend. How dare you say that? I just played a whole Frog game this week. I think also Tetris, right?
Mm.
One of the greatest games of all time. I would love to argue somebody on that because I mean it shaped like the Game Boy wouldn't have sold if Tetris wasn't on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. True.
like that's that's a good question though because like what's simple, what's the simplest? That's the hardest thing to kind of say because even like we play Magic Archery, we played and enjoyed.
Yeah.
That's simple. That's a simple game, but
Yep.
yeah. Oh, good question. Good question. Next question comes from Arcarp though, and let me just delete this one real quick.
That question.
That question, no.
Yeah.
Arcarp is what is the longest amount of time you've sat and played video games nonstop?
So when the Gears of War 3 beta came out, I played it for 14 hours that day, and I just took a bathroom break or bathroom, and I got like snacks or whatever. But I was like laying in my bed, and like just chilling, just enjoying it. Didn't have, it was like I was like in high school, so didn't have anything to do, right? Now, yeah, that's probably the longest amount of time. I've definitely had like long streams before, but I'm not always like sitting and playing during the stream. Like I've had like 12-hour streams before and stuff like that, but yeah, not playing for 12 hours straight. But what about you, Tom?
Definitely like maybe 5 hours. I think I am very ADD, so it's hard for me to do that. But I've definitely had play sessions with friends where we played a lot of different games, like on GameCube or the Switch or whatever.
Yeah.
Where we just like, all right, what's next? Boom, 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 and like next thing you know, it's like 5 hours later. So that's probably the longest.
I feel like we've done that with like Wii Sports too when you have a party,
Yeah.
but you're not playing the whole time. You're watching people and stuff, but yeah, definitely some long play sessions with that.
Smash, like if I have to really guess what the longest game I've played, like sat down and played a single game, it's probably Smash Melee.
Mm-hmm.
At one point during high school, if I like that, I mean, I played a lot of RuneScape too, but I think that was like that was still broken up a little bit. So
yeah.
But good question, Arcarb. Good.
RuneScape. Also, that should have been in the news.
Well, I think it's gonna be in the news next week.
Oh, okay. I guess we don't know yet.
I mean, there's something going on.
We think that there's something happening.
There's something in the water. But hey, great question, Arcarp. As always, you are a beautiful soul. Maybe
Jesse McCartney.
Jesse McCartney. Wait, is that a Jesse McCartney song?
I think so. Beautiful soul. Come on, Tom. You don't know your Jesse McCartney?
I'm not up on the Jesse McCartney stuff,
man.
Rest
I got
in
a
peace.
poster.
No, wait. Did he die or is it Aaron Carter?
Aaron Carter. Yeah,
I get him a little.
Yeah,
a little confused.
Yeah. No,
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. But something I'm not sorry about is the Rec Room, a little place that we'd like to go down to before the end of every episode where we talk about and recommend something that perhaps isn't an indie video game. What are you recommending this week?
This week, I am recommending a show that Maria and I have been watching called The White Lotus. It's on HBO. I feel like it's a pretty popular show, but I had never really heard of it until Maria brought it up. But we're watching through season 3 right now. The episodes are still coming out. They come out weekly. The first season, so basically what this show is, for those that don't know, is it's almost like a whodunit kind of show where in the beginning, it shows like, oh, someone found a dead body or something like that, something in that vein. And then they kind of tell a story through each episode, and you're kind of guessing like, who is it? Who killed the person? All that sort of stuff. But it takes place at these really high-end resorts called the White Lotus. So the first season takes place in Hawaii. The second season takes place in Italy, at their branch of the White Lotus. And then this season is taking place in Thailand. So it's all most of the characters are new with each season, but there are some characters that do carry over. So it makes it kind of interesting. Like we're watching season 3 right now, and there's a girl in it from season 1. Actually, 2 people from season 1, and one of them doesn't want to be recognized in Thailand. So it makes these like interesting, kind of. There's a plenty of new characters, plenty of new things. So I feel like even if you just started watching season 3, like you probably would have a good time without picking up on certain things that are happening. But it's cool that there's kind of these storylines that carry through. And honestly, season 1, I wasn't super crazy about. They fine acting and everything. It's just some of the characters are just like annoying, and I just don't care. It's like Sydney Sweeney was in it. Guy from The Office, Pete from The Office in the later seasons, if anyone knows who that is. Also, the guy who played Bill in The Last of Us, he's in it as well. And they always have this like shock factor, this shock moment. I won't get into what that is, just in case there's people out there that want to watch through it. But there's always like an episode where you're like, what the hell was that? And it's pretty weird stuff. But season 2 is definitely better. But season 3, I think they really hit their stride. It is great. And it is it has Walton Goggins in it, who is just, he's been doing some great stuff. And his character is just so interesting as well. You really want to know what he's up to. And yeah, it's got the guy who played Draco Malfoy's dad.
Oh yeah.
What's
He's
his
great.
name? Yeah, he's really good in the show too. Yeah, so it's got some really great actors in season 3, and I also just feel like the story overall is better. So if anything, I'm recommending watching season 3, but I do think it's worth watching through all of it so you kind of get those storylines that carry over for a few characters.
What is his name? Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah. His name is Pedro Pascal.
No, his name. Oh, Jason Isaacs. Yeah, he's so good. He, in the first season of the OA, which was this Netflix show that unfortunately got canceled after 2 seasons, but it was such an ambitious show and it was so good. He plays the kind of the antagonist in the first season. They're kind of like separate stories in a way, kind of like this. And like I would say the first season of the OA is probably in my like top 5 seasons of a show ever.
Wow.
And he plays this antagonist and he's just so good in it. He's a great actor. But
yeah,
honestly, I think the worst season or worst he is in anything is Harry Potter. But,
yeah, probably. Yeah, it's like the only thing I like knew him from,
Yeah.
that I remember at least. But yeah, his character goes through some stuff in this season. And also, I forgot to mention Arnold Schwarzenegger's son is in it too. So his character is, you hate him, but he's doing a good job of making you hate him, which is good. So yeah, definitely some better castings in season 3. Season 2 had Christopher Moltisanti from The Sopranos. He's in it, so he's good with season 2. But and it was cool being in Italy. But anyway, yeah. So that's a lot about the White Lotus. I wanted to hate it after the first season. I was like, I don't even know if I want to watch it again. And then when I found out it was different characters, most of them were new. I was like, all right, I'll give another season a try. And then that one was better. And then for season 3, I'm like, wow, it's been great so far. So
yeah, and it's written and created by Mike White, right?
Mike White, Ned Schneebly,
who also wrote School of Rock. So obviously big fans of that here. I do want to watch it. I haven't yet. Have you watched Vice Principals yet? You like Walton Goggins?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, we watched through all that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that was
good.
good. And obviously, Righteous Gemstones as
Yeah,
well. He's
yeah.
in, and he's in Fallout too. He's great in
Yeah.
Fallout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel to recommend. So I've been watching this sports writer on TikTok for a couple of years now, Jeff Pearlman. He's been a sports writer since the 90s, and he's covered a lot of great stuff, and he's written a lot of great stuff and some good books. And he, kind of like was like more of a candid thing on TikTok and just like talking about stuff, and even would admit when he'd be wrong on stuff, which I always appreciated. And he always kind of had like this nuanced takes on, I think, on the people aspect of sports and stuff like that, which kind of gets lost now in the clickbaity nonsense of the sports world. So I always really appreciated the way he would talk about the sports. So he started a YouTube channel a month ago. So every week he does like a 20 to 30 minute video about a different topic from like what he's written about in his like 30 plus years of writing. The first episode, it's also called Press Box Chronicles with Jeff Pearlman is the name of the YouTube channel and the show that he's doing. The first episode was, he wrote the book Showtime, the Magic Johnson Lakers story that eventually got made into a show on Amazon, I think it was, or maybe it was HBO. But so he talked about the kind of trials and tribulations of having your book made into a TV show, and like how he got to be involved, and then how COVID affected everything, and yada yada yada. And he also would talk about like it was he kind of knew the season wasn't gonna, the show wasn't gonna get renewed for a third season, and they're like, hey, what do you think about, and like they didn't really know it yet, but they're like, hey, what do you think about ending season 2 with the Celtics and Larry Bird winning the NBA championship? And he's like, you can't, if this show ends, you can't have the show about the Lakers and Magic Johnson end with the Celtics winning. Like, so it's kind of like crazy stuff like that. And then he had a really interesting episode the second week. He actually kind of where he first made his mark, I think, where he did an interview with John Rocker, this hot-headed pitcher from the Braves in the 90s. And the guy's like a total asshole. and like he wrote about it because he was with him for the day in his car and got to experience all this stuff. And he was like, oh, I'm going to write about it. And he got to the point where like sometimes like baseball teams wouldn't let him in the clubhouse because they didn't want to, because they thought he's gonna write another hit piece on them. He's like, I was just the one guy. So really interesting perspectives and kind of fun stories about the journalism side of sports. So I've been enjoying it. I watched there's only 4 episodes out. The third one is about, he went to UDEL and their first time making the tournament in the 90s when he was there, and he was like a college sports writer, so he got to experience that. Actually sent that to our cousin Kyle. It was like nice little UDEL history. And then today he came out with something about Barry Bonds, which obviously I'll have to watch. So Press Box Chronicles with Jeff Pearlman.
Very cool. Love the name too.
Yeah. Just like
cool name.
It feels like old school, and like he's like in his office, and you can see like all of his like paper clippings, and it's just like it's got a good vibe, and he's very like real. It doesn't feel like he's like hamming it up at all. So
Cool.
Press Box Chronicles, Jeff Pearlman. Find it on YouTube. And that's gonna do it for the show, folks. I'm excited for next week. I'm so excited. I want to start that episode now, which is so cool. But until then, you can find me on all socials at Fresh Buds Pod. Check out my other podcast, Fresh and Buds, talk about Flesh and Blood, the trading card game. You can find us on all socials at Fresh Juice Pod. And Matthew, where can people find you?
Find me at Matty Gorm, Gorm, on all the socials. We post more on YouTube. Hope to see you over there, folks.
See you later.